Welcome to 2024. I hope you all had a fantastic new year. Being that it's 2024, my first video of the year, why don't we take a look at my top 10 most anticipated movies upcoming for this year. And a few honourable mentions as well, and why they didn't make the list. So let's get into it. So welcome back, everyone. Great to be back. Not that I've been anywhere, but there we go. So, top 10 films of the year. I'll probably keep this list recorded and then just edit into my top 10 most disappointing movies at the end of the year. No doubt, a lot of these films are not going to hit the mark for me, and I'm going to be left disappointed. But at this juncture, these are films that I am looking forward to, or that I'm intrigued about. Not so much looking forward to. Some, you know, they haven't had trailers, they're just announcements and this sort of a thing. So let's dive in. So in the 10th spot, we have Kraven the Hunter from Sony Pictures. Marvel character, a villain in the pantheon of the Amazing Spider-Man. Aaron Taylor-Johnson playing the role of Kraven himself. The trailers don't look too bad to me. I think it looks pretty intriguing. But then so did Morbius. And look how that turned out. Yeah, Sony, their projects intrigue me. I'm always interested to see what they can pull off. Venom was okay. The first Venom film was okay as a sort of popcorn film. I'm hoping we get the same here with Kraven. So I just find it intriguing that they've got these characters and they're playing in this sort of ballpark with them. So there's that. So then number 9. Ryan Gosling in The Fall Guy with Emily Blunt. Yeah, based upon the popular TV show from the 1980s starring Lee Majors. Great show, loved it. I'm intrigued and interested that they've done a film based upon it. You know, a stuntman died by day, a sort of bounty hunter by night. Ryan Gosling behind the wheel of a car. Drive. What can go wrong? Then, number 8. Deadpool 3. This is the only MCU movie this year. And it is an MCU movie. Ryan Reynolds, joined by Hugh Jackman, reprising his role as Wolverine. A lot of other characters popping up who are familiar to us. Jennifer Garner as Elektra, apparently. So this is all very intriguing. Now, this is an MCU movie, but it is the journey of Deadpool travelling from his universe and ending up in the MCU universe where he will inevitably stay. So even though it is an MCU movie, it's not set within the MCU until a certain juncture within the film, and he's, you know, popping into these other worlds en route, I guess, and visiting these characters that we know and loved from the past, or maybe not loved, maybe that's not the right word, but yeah, so I'm very much looking forward to that. 7. Joker, Folie à Deux, the second Joker movie. Did Joker need a sequel? Probably not. The first one was a fantastic movie, and I love it. I really do love the film. However, each time I watch it, I love it and love it that much more, but I dislike it and dislike it that much more as a Joker movie. I think it looks better as a film of its own and not associated with Batman, if that makes sense. Now, obviously, this one has got Lady Gaga in it as Harley Quinn. there's meant to be some sort of musical stuff going on in it. Or I don't know if that's changed, but that was the thing I last heard. I don't really keep up to track on the news of films. I'm not that involved now. I don't hunt for news or anything like that. A lot of films just come out of nowhere for me nowadays, and I prefer it like that. So whether that's still the case or not, I don't know. Having Lady Gaga in it kind of points towards that being the case. And if so, I'm interested by that. That aspect of it does interest me. And then we have number 6, Ballerina, a revisit back into the John Wick universe, and this is Ana de Armas. Now Ana de Armas is a great actress. She's very good. She was completely wasted in that last James Bond film where she had a little action bit. And here she's front and centre in an action role. Keanu Reeves is returning. Norman Reedus from The Walking Dead fame is in the film as well. And this is set between John Wick's 3 and 4. Now, as long as this film doesn't run for 3 hours, then I'll be happy. Because the last John Wick movie did burn me out a bit. It really did. I find it... I can't rewatch it. I watched it once. Attempted a rewatch. Couldn't do it. 3 hours of just non-stop action without any narrative or story is very hard to get through, very difficult. So hopefully this film clocks in at about the hour and 45 minute mark, and I'd be happy with that. So moving on, number 5, Furiosa, Mad Max Saga. Yeah, a film about the young Furiosa. Anna Taylor-Joy plays young Furiosa. This was a character that was played by Charlize Theron in Fury Road. George Miller is back in the director's chair, and Chris Hemsworth is in the movie as well. That's the only warning sign I have for this film. I mean, this is a strange one. I want to see it. The trailer looks good, but could this have just been a Mad Max film with Mad Max? Because that's what I'm half expecting to happen. I watch this film and I could easily transpose the character of Furiosa for Mad Max, a couple of little tweaks in the narrative, and it's the same film, just with a different character in the mix. I'm sure it will look great. George Miller, as long as he still does a lot of the practicality and his effects with the cars and less reliant on CGI, that'll be good. Like I said, the only warning sign for this film for me is Chris Hemsworth. You know, Chris Hemsworth is great as Thor in the MCU, but outside of that, he's not really done anything that's caught my attention. And in here, where he's got heavy makeup on, does look a bit jokey. It looks somewhat fake. So that's the only warning sign I have. Then dropping down to 4, Kingdom of the Planet of the Apes. Now, I'm really excited for this because I love the Planet of the Apes franchise. I love Rise, Dawn and War for the Planet of the Apes. I think it is a fantastic trilogy. Now, unfortunately, not many people went to see War for the Planet of the Apes. And I think there's this kind of consensus that it's not a very good film. Which is completely wrong. It's a great film, it really is. It's a strong ending to that franchise of 3 films that are all individually very strong movies. Just I don't know what happened. It came out and I remember it coming out and I remember thinking, no one's gone to see this. It's not made any money. So the fact that we are getting another Planet of the Apes film is great. This film is set a little bit further down in the timeline. You've got Cornelius, the son of Caesar. He's now a grown-up ape, and obviously the human race has reverted back to that sort of grunty, caveman-y type thing that that we saw in the first Planet of the Apes, the early Planet of the Apes films. And I'm wondering whether this series will get to the point where it reintroduces the Icarus coming back through. Because you can do a twist in the plot, tweak it, that it's not actually that far in the future that stuff has happened. I know that in the original film it was some amount of time, but this film's done it very quick with the virus and disease that has kind of eliminated the cognitive mind functions, whatever you want to call it, of human beings, and reverted them back to essentially caveman-esque kind of a species. But yeah, I'm looking forward to that. And then we have Civil War. I believe Kirsten Dunst is in this one. Now, I only saw the trailer for this the other day. This is a film that I'm sure will prove to be somewhat controversial. It's about America, short period into the future, and another civil war. When I say the future, I don't mean the future, but a few years down the line, and another civil war takes place in America. And with the way things are going in different America, even here in the UK, you know, this kind of thing is proven to be more of a potential reality. So again, that's one to keep an eye on. It's from A24. I'm not a fan of A24 pictures and movies that they do. Not so much that I don't like their horror stuff or their primarily their horror stuff. So this doesn't fall into that category. So very much interested by that. Then number 2. We have Ghostbusters Frozen Ground. I really enjoyed Ghostbusters Afterlife. I thought it was fantastic. I did think it was a very good film. And this one here looks to be quite good from the trailer. It looks like Bill Murray et al. Have a bigger role in it. Still more extended cameos, but bigger than what they were. Paul Rudd, Carrie Coon, you know, putting backpacks on their backs. They're members of the Ghostbusters team. I like the way that it's worked. I like the fact that it's not just the kids that are doing it, that there's adult supervision there, and they're acting as sort of team leaders for the Ghostbusters, so to speak. I like that aspect to it. I did wonder how they would play this out at the end of the other film, because it didn't make sense to me that the kids would all be just the kids running around as Ghostbusters. So it's good to see that the original cast are back in there, that the adults that were in the other film are Ghostbusters as well. It looks to be fun. Now, it's not Ivan Reitman's son directing this time around. It's a completely different director, so it remains to be seen. Anyway, number 1 is the untitled Alien movie. Yeah, there's a new Alien movie coming this year, apparently. It's been directed by Fede Alvarez. I think that's how you pronounce Alvarez. Is that how you pronounce his name? I don't know. It's not. It hasn't got anything to do with the other Alien movies. So it's stepping away from Covenant, it's stepping away from Prometheus stuff, stepping away from the Ripley movies. It's a self-contained Alien movie with different people in it. And really that's the way that this franchise needed to go. It doesn't need that lore, that backstory. We didn't need to know where the aliens came from, right? Some things are best left a mystery. So if this is another sort of alien in space slasher movie kind of a thing, then I'm all on board for it. Like I said, there's nothing really to say about the film at the moment, but it could be a massive letdown. I'm probably setting myself up for letdown as well. But there we go. There's 10 films. 10 films that I am looking forward to most. You might be asking where a couple are. So let's talk about some films that didn't quite make the list and the reason why. Okay, so other films that I am looking forward to. So Dune 2. Dune 2 is probably high on the list for a lot of people. But I really enjoyed the first Dune film. And I'm not talking about the original Dune from years back. I thought that was boring. I hate the film. I really do. I really dislike that movie. But a couple of years ago when we got Dune, I watched it and it was a beautiful film. It was a fantastic looking movie. However, I'm not inspired to... I don't know, not inspired, not excited by the second one. Now this could be just sort of feelings of my original thoughts on Dune coming through, this sort of a thing, or it could be times passed since the first one, and I haven't watched the film again since, I'll be honest. I don't know. I don't know why. It's just not, I'm not feeling it. I'm not feeling it. I don't really like desert set films anyway. Saying that, I put Mad Max on a list, but there we go, that's Mad Max. I don't really like desert set films. I find them visually somewhat very boring, actually, when it's set in a desert. It does bore the hell out of me. So it could be an element of that. I don't know. Saying that, I'll probably see the film and I think it's the best thing since sliced bread. And it might make my top 10. It probably will make my top 10. But as I'm sat here at the moment, I'm not overly intrigued by it. Obviously, I'll see it, and hopefully it will just blow me away. So what else do we have? We have Venom 3. Obviously didn't make the list because it's the third in the Venom franchise. I enjoyed the first Venom. Second Venom was a complete waste. Complete waste. Waste of the character Carnage. Totally. So Venom 3, not really. There's a new Transformers film coming this year. Now, I'm always excited by a new Transformer film, but this is animated. Not that that's a problem. I'm fine with animated Transformers. I like the old cartoon series. It's called Transformers 1, this. So I am excited in a sense for this, but no, it didn't make my top 10. The worry is that Peter Cullen isn't voicing Optimus Prime. Why wouldn't you get him? I think it's Chris Hemsworth again, voicing Optimus Prime. Again, Chris Hemsworth worries me. It does worry me. I mean, a lot of fans are not going to be happy about that. I'm sure of it. Get the original voice of Optimus Prime back in that chair. You know, it's such a distinctive, recognisable voice that when you say Chris, it doesn't matter what name you say to it. It's not gonna wash. But there we go. What else do we have? We have Godzilla and Kong. That's coming our way this year. Godzilla, Kong, New Empire. Okay, the trailer's out, and it looks too CGI heavy. It looks like a cartoon. It looks like CGI is digressing. You know, think of how Godzilla looked in that 2014, Godzilla film. Picture that. If you managed to catch a glimpse of him, if you weren't blinking at that point in the movie when he was on screen, you see what I mean? It's kind of like these films have gone, and each one has got progressively more cartoony looking. And that scene where Godzilla and Kong are running at the screen in almost human-like movements, end of Batman and Robin, anyone? But there we go. Then what else do we have? And I will mention Madam Web, another Sony Marvel film. I'm intrigued by this, and it almost made the list. It almost made the list because I'm just kind of shocked that this film even got greenlit. That this film is actually a thing. I know they were talking about it, and all of a sudden there was a trailer, and I'm interested. I know the character of Madam Web from the comics, very minutely from the comics, generally from my time of J. Michael Straczynski writing the Amazing Spider-Man comics about 20 years ago, and the fact that she's got it's just one of those projects that it's like probably like watching. You know that there's going to be a car crash, but you're intrigued anyway that you want to stay and watch it. See what I'm saying? It's probably one of those sort of scenarios. And then the last film, and this would have been my number one, but I don't know that it's coming out this year, and that is the next Into the Spider-Verse movie, and Beyond the Spider-Verse. Now, I love the first Spider-Man, Into the Spider-Verse. I love Across the Spider-Verse, Into the Spider-Verse, Across the Spider-Verse. Across the Spider-Verse, the second one was my favourite film of 2023. I loved it, I really did. So I am, I'm so on board for the end of this trilogy. The second one is a Empire Strikes Back, Back to the Future 2 kind of a ending, leading into this one. However, there has been chatter because of the strikes and all that sort of a thing that the film was being pushed back later. But it's still TBC as I'm filming this. There's no definitive whether it is going to be or not going to be released this year. So this would have been my number one spot had I known a definitive date for it. But there we go. So there we go. 10 films I'm looking forward to. A few more that almost made the list but didn't. Have a little chat about them and why they didn't make the list. And there we go. So, again, 2024 in front of us. A whole year. I'm sure it's going to fly by. Tempest Fugit and all that. Let me know what films you're looking forward to that are coming out this year. Let me know in the comments down below. Is there anything that you're surprised by that I've put on the list in the top 10? Anything you're surprised that I didn't even mention at all? Let me know. And let's talk film. See you later.